Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Net Crochet Tejido. Today I'll be teaching you how to knit this beautiful hat. A while back I made this neck warmer to match a hat that my daughter gave me. And this one is factory made. They sell them at her store, but I absolutely love the stitch and the look of the hat and the beautiful pom-pom. And I figured out the stitch that was made with. So I made the neck warmer. A few of my subscribers asked if I can show how to make the hat. I made the hat, and it looked a little bit different. Remember, this is a factory made. This one is handmade, but when I open the stitch, it's exactly the same. It's a absolutely gorgeous stitch. The only thing that I made the hat in a different color because I already have the set. I don't need to make another hat the same color as this one. So I hope you guys like it and give it a try, and here is the list of material you're going to need to make it. If you are not already a subscriber, please subscribe and click on the little bell. That way you get notification each time I upload a video. Remember, I make my videos in Spanish and English. If you receive a Spanish video and you want to see in English, go to the main page of my YouTube channel. There you'll find the English version in there. Also, you can send me a message and I can send you the link. To make this hat, this is the material I'm going to use. This one is the Loose and Thread Impeccable, medium 4, 100% acrylic, 128 grams. True gray is the color. And the netting needle, I'm going to use this Xiaogu 4.5 millimeter, 16 inches from tip to tip, 40 centimeters. I'm going to use a row round counter that is a marker as well. Tapestry needle and scissor, and measurement tape. Something else that is optional is a pom-pom for your hat. I bought this one at Michael a while back. I bought quite a few of them. So this one is the only one I have gray like this, and it's perfect for my hat because it matches perfect the color. You're gonna need a button to sew in the inside, needle and thread to sew the button, and a crochet hook to pull the elastic into the inside of the house. Inside the hat, that way you can wrap it around a few times. A while back I did this neck warmer, but I didn't make the hat because this hat was a present from my daughter from her store. She bought one for herself, and when I saw the stitch and the beautiful pom-pom, I fell in love, and then she bought one for me. She gave it to me as a present, and then I figured out the stitch. Remember, this is factory made, this is handmade. And this one looked like they steam it a little bit because the stitch is open. And this one says it's handmade. And I didn't steam this. It's like this, more like that. But when you open like that, it's exactly the same. So I have quite a few requests on how to make the hat. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you how you're going to make the hat. It's very easy, and I'm going to make it in different color, that way I can wear both hats. Here I have a tail long enough to cast on 88 stitches plus 1 to close the circumference, 2x2 rib, so I have to cast on multiple of 4. So I'm going to do slip knot. And start casting on my 89 stitches, 88 plus 1. So what I do, in order for this needle not to make that rattling noise, I grab one of those little cakes, I stick it in, or you can grab any ball of yarn and do the same. That way you don't get the noise. After a while it gets a little bit annoying. So you're gonna do this, casting on your stitches. If you want this smaller, you move 4 stitches at a time, like 84 or 80. If you want it bigger, you add 4, like 92 stitches, and always plus 1 to close the circumference. I have my 89 stitches. I'm going to make sure that this is not twisted to close to circumference, and they will be like this. And what I'm going to do now is the first stitch that I cast on, I'm going to pass it to the right hand needle, and the last stitch that I did, I'm gonna cast it off over. So I'm gonna hold it right there in order not to lose that stitch. I'm gonna lose this one. That was the last one that I did. And I'm gonna pass it over the tip of the needle. I'm gonna pull the yarn, and I'm gonna come here, and I'm gonna do a knot with the tail and working yarn. Usually I was passing that stitch back to the left hand needle, but lately I've been leaving that stitch there. So now I'm gonna place my marker and round counter, round counter, and I'm gonna start working my 2x2 rib, to net to purl, to net to purl. For the brim, this one is 3 inches, but for mine I'm gonna do around 40 inches. That way when I fold the brim, it's a little bit wider. So I'm gonna do an extra inch of the rib stitch. So I'm gonna start leaving the tail, not working with the tail. I'm gonna do 2 net, and yarn to the front, 2 purls, yarn to the back, 2 net, yarn to the front, 2 purl, 2 net, and 2 purl. And like that you're gonna continue working, and you start with 2 net and you're gonna finish with 2 purl stitch. Once you pass the marker, you're going to continue exactly the same as the first round with 2 net and 2 purl. Two net and 2 purl. And I don't going to count the rounds of the brim, because I don't need to keep a track of how many I do. I'm gonna guide myself by measurement this. But for the stitch of the hat, yes, because it's a multiple of 2 round, so I have to make sure when I do 1 and 2 I start again with a repetition of 1. That's why I have my round counter here. For here I'm just gonna guide myself by measurement. I'm gonna do around 4 inches for the brim. If you want your brim shorter, you can do less. You can do 3 inches like this. You see this one is not full halfway at the same amount. So for mine gonna be around 4 inches. So I will meet you here when I have my border done. Here I have my 4 inches for the border or brim, and 4 inches is 10 centimeters. Now I'm gonna start with the 2 row repetition for the stitch. The first round is 2 net, and then after you do the 2 net, you're gonna start with the repetitions of the stitch. So it's like opening a start here, and you're gonna do 1 purl 3 net. That's the repetition that you're gonna do. 1 purl, 3 net. Again, 1 purl and 3 net stitch. And like that is how you're gonna continue with 1 purl, 3 net, 1 purl, 3 net. At the end, you're gonna do 1 purl, 1 net, because you start with 2 net. At the end, you finish with a net, and that will be the 3 net stitch. The stitch will look like this once you continue. You see, so it's 1 net, a seed stitch, a purl, a seed stitch, and then you start with 1 net. So in this round we're doing the seed stitch, net, and in the next one we'll do them purl. So I'm gonna continue with a repetition of 1 purl and 3 net. And remember, at the end you're gonna finish with, after you do the purl, you'll have 1 stitch left, and that will be in the stitch. I finished the first round. The second round is even easier. You're gonna do 1 net, 3 purl, and that's it. 1, 2, and 3, and again 1 net, 3 purl, and that net stitch is always a net stitch. One net and 3 purl. One net and 3 purl, and you will continue like that, and at the end you're gonna finish with 3 purl, and that's what you're gonna do in round 2. I put my marker to 0 because I'm going to start with the repetition of round 1 again, and I use the marker just in case I have to leave my work, and then I know in which round I'm working. It's either 1 or 2. If you don't have a round counter, you can write it on a little piece of paper, and then when you come back again to work, you know which one you're working on. So you're going to start again the repetition. I'm going to show you how to start again those 2 round repetition, and I will work for a little piece. That way I show you what it look like after a few rounds. So you're going to start with 2 net, and you don't going to count those 2 in the repetition. So you start from here, 1 purl, 3 nets. Again, 1 purl, 3 nets, and in those 3 net, the center net, the second one is the one that always will be a net in the entire work. 1 purl, 3 knit. And like that, you're going to continue all the way until the end of this first round. 1 purl, 3 knits. I'm going to start the repetition of round 2 and is 1 knit, 3 purl. And that's the 2 round repetition. That easy for this beautiful stitch. 1 knit and 3 purl stitch. I'm gonna work for a few rounds. That way I will show you what I look like with this color, because you're seeing the stitch in the other piece. But I will work and then I will give you the measurements. This is what I've done so far, and you see the stitch is exactly the same. Like I mentioned, the only thing that this one is flat and this one is not. You see this one don't gather like that one. Somehow it's flat, but it's exactly the same stitch when you open it like that. And I'm gonna continue working until I have the length that I need for mine. For mine will be around 9 inches on total. So I will fold the brim, the width at the brim that you want, around there, will be for mine. And then I will work close to 9 inches, because I still had to do the decrease around there. 8.5 and 3/4 inches. And then the decrease will be two together in one round, and then one round without decrease, and another one, two together in the next round, and so on. I don't want to decrease like shaping the top of the hat, because and then you have to change the stitch, and I want to keep the entire hat with this beautiful stitch. So I'm going to continue working until I have almost 9 inches, and then I will meet you here to show you how you're going to do the decrease. But remember, you always have to measure from the border after you fold the brim, okay? Not from this, from here. Here I have almost 9 inches, and I did a very wide brim because I like to be nice and warm around my ears for the cold here in Canada. So now I finished with the repetition of round 1, and I'm going to start with a decrease. For the first round of decrease, I'm going to knit 2 together, 2 together, 2 together. Everything is a net stitch. So you're going to knit 2 together, 2 together, and so on. After you finish that round of decrease, you're going to do a round of knit with no decrease. You're going to knit all your stitches. And then we're going to do one more round of decrease. You're going to knit 2 together, and then you will cut a tail long enough to pass through all those stitches that you will have left in your needle, and secure and loose, and you have done your hat. if you're gonna place a pom-pom, and then don't close this too much. If you're gonna put the one like the one that I have, that I had to grab one, and there is the one that you had to sew a button in the inside, and with elastic you wrap a few times. This one is with a clip, like this. So when you wanted to wash this, you just remove the pom-pom, throw it in the wash machine, or wash it by hand, and depend on the type of bowl or jar that you use, it's the way you're gonna wash your hat. So for this one, I'm gonna leave a little bit of hole like this. I'm gonna wrap it a few times, lose the tail, and lose the other tail, and then I will place a pom-pom from this one. But if you don't want to place any pom-pom, just tie this really tight. Make sure that you don't see the little hole. Pass the yarn to the inside, lose the tails, place the homemade tag if you have a tag, and then you done your hat. You see, this is the pom-pom that I'm gonna put on my hat. It's not the same as this one, but it's still really nice, and it matched the color of my hat. So I'm gonna leave a little bit of a hole in here now. That way when I pass this elastic, I'm gonna wrap around a few times inside on the button that I'm gonna sew inside. That way I secure the pom-pom. I already lost the tail in the inside. For this one in the border, I'm gonna lose this tail in the outside of our hat, because when I fold the brim, that part gonna be hidden in the inside and the outside will be perfect. Now to sew the button, don't sew the button right in the center, because you need a little hole to pass the elastic. I'm gonna sew mine on top of the little tail that I have left there, and here to the side. That way I will pass the elastic and wrap around the button a few times. These are the 4 different handmade tags that come in the package. So none of these I can use for the hat. I just wanted to explain that because the border of the hat is fold in half, and if I fold this in half like this, you see, the handmade is inside. Don't look bad like that with nothing, but it look nice with the handmade outside. So none of these you can use. I have to use this one, and I will show you how I'm gonna sew it, and then I will show you the end result. To sew the handmade tag, I'm gonna sew it on top of the net stitch, because if you put this on, you see, and stretch, there's no problem. But if you do it the other way, in here, in between the net stitch, when you put it on, it will look weird in this part. So I wanted to mention that, and we're gonna start sewing. This is what I have left from that ball of yarn. It has 71 grams. I weighed it. So that means from one of these loops and thread impeccable, you can make 2 hats exactly the same. Well, I finished my hat, and at first glance, they don't look nothing alike. First of all, this one is made in a factory. This one is handmade. And the border of this one is smaller. I did mine wider because I want to keep warm, because this one have a piece of cloth sewn in the inside. Mine don't need that because the border of this one is wide enough to keep my ears warm. And this one look like they steamed the stitch. This one is just being made handmade, but when I open my hat, the stitch is exactly, you see, the same. I absolutely love my hat. The only thing that I wish is to have some of this type of pom-pom to put on, because they look absolutely gorgeous, these ones. But well, this is the one I have, and this is the one I put on, but it's still beautiful. So I hope you guys like it, and give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber and you make this beautiful hat or any of my work, and you want to send me some picture, that way I can share them in my blogs. You can do it through my Facebook page, Rubinet Crochet Tejido, or my Instagram, Rubinet Crochet Tejido. Please share my video with friends and family, that way you help me grow here in YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.